Hey guys, Jason here again, and today I'm doing a book review on the new Scott Stapp book, Sinner's Creed, and of course Scott Stapp is the lead singer of Creed and is also a solo artist. Alright, so this book basically covers a lot. It covers from Scott up to about age 5 when he realized he had to be basically the man of the house. His dad had left. He recounts times where his dad was around and he's having good times with him, and then one day he just got up and left. It accounts from that when he had to, be the man of the house to up to recently. Probably, I think 2011, I think, is when it sounded like it stopped. It's very, very interesting. I definitely recommend this book to anyone. Basically, I'm going to go highlight a couple of the key things. It highlights, of course, that his dad leaving and him having to be the man of the house. It highlights a lot of his mom's relationship with boyfriend and soon-to-be husband, Steve Stapp. And then it highlights a lot of that abuse that goes on eventually. Eventually, Scott and Steve are kind of attached at the hip. They love each other and whatnot. But as time goes on, there's abuse. Obviously, Scott is, some people know, and through his music and what Creed has been labeled as a Christian band, Scott is very in tune with his faith, and it's definitely a good thing, and it definitely is shown throughout the book. There's a lot of passages, with the Bible and whatnot. He talks a lot about God and how God has helped him through his life and helped him through different challenges. So that's entwined with that. That's thanks to Steve a lot. That's part of the abuse. Scott had to write some Bible verses and never got credit. As you read the book, you'll see that. I'm not gonna ruin it for people, but a couple other things is obviously the formation of Creed after Scott left, to go to college and just go to school. He went to the Florida State University, and that's where he kind of met Mark. They kind of reconnected after, meeting in high school, I believe it was, after watching Behind the Music and all this, and then they formed Creed with, Flip, the drummer, and all these guys. And of course, that was about 95, and then, My Own Prison came out, of course, and then, obviously, they were playing big-time shows. They weren't, I think before My Own Prison started, they weren't signed, so it tells of the management that signed up Wind Up Records, Alan and Diane Melsner, I believe it was. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but is definitely interesting, and it shows their touring and the struggles with that, how they didn't want to tour and whatnot, long tours, and just because of a lot of vocal pain having to tour. Scott being the front man, of course, there's been a lot of talk about that, having eventually his vocal tissue and your vocal cords that get stretched out, they get weakened and whatnot. He was on drugs for that, like medication, and he ended up getting addicted to it, and alcohol became a huge factor in that, and he became basically a recovering alcoholic. And it tells a lot about that rehab, different stints, and a botched suicide attempt, and Creed's breakup, and all that infighting and everything. It's got a lot jam-packed in here. It's very personal as well. It talks about his son Jagger, and his new wife Jacqueline, who he married, I believe, in 2008. Could be wrong with that. I'm sorry if I am wrong. Anyway, like I said, it talks about a solo career. Talks about that. It talks about him feeling betrayed once Creed came back in 2009, and it just not how he felt betrayed because the band didn't have his back to begin with, and then they had the hiatus, of course, and then when they did come back, there was some tension between the band. He finally relapsed again, unfortunately, in 2009, I believe, which you have to read the book to find out the details of it. I'm just telling, this is kind of what's been going on in the news anyway, with Scott and all this stuff, and he felt betrayed. Creed was supposed to do an international tour. That never happened. He ended up, in financial straits, really, really straining for money after a lot of a legal battle with the rights of Creed songs with Wind Up record executives, especially Alan Melsner, and a very just messy divorce between the two owners of the company, of course. And of course, it talks about when Alan died. There's a nice piece in there at the very end. It talks about Alan and how, even though they had some tough times, and even though he kind of scammed them out of money with radio royalties back in the day when Creed was very, very popular, their first couple albums, scammed him out of. He talks graciously about Alan and how nice a person he was, how he gave him a chance. It's really, really good, and I definitely recommend this book to everyone who not if you're a Creed fan or not. Again, here's the book title. It's got, just looking down. It's very personal, as I said. I recommend this to anyone who's a fan of rock bios, maybe a fan of Creed to begin with, Alter Bridge, maybe even just anybody, just a different point of view. Because I read the Nikki Sixx books, This Is Gonna Hurt, and the Heroin Diaries. They're both very different to this. Similar kind of stories as far as the drug abuse and whatnot, and the whole rock star lifestyle. But definitely check all those books out. Check out the Motley Crue. I did a review for that. You want to check that out as well. I'll put the link below to that. But there also is a track that actually was included for download with this book, as I got this for Christmas, and I able to download the track, and I'll give my review for that now. The song title here, and excuse me, I'm gonna look this up, is A Prayer for Sunshine. It's actually called Sinner's Creed, A Prayer for Sunshine. It's actually, in here, looking at the exact interview right now, Scott was actually inspired by this book as he was telling his life story. So he wrote this book about, wanting to get through the hard times that he had been through, and wanting to basically inspire people, which I think is very awesome. The song is very, very good, no matter what you think of Creed. And Scott, to begin with, I would definitely check out that song. It's very acoustic sounding. It's very, it's acoustic sounding, but then it goes into a jam session type of thing, and the lyrics are there, especially in the beat and when it picks up. They're very catchy. One of the lines it'll be in your head for days and days and days. I would definitely recommend that. But yeah, so that's my track review for that. Again, I would give this book a 9 out of 10. There's some slow parts to it, but those go by pretty fast. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, you can check that out. If anybody has read this book and wants to give me a little review or whatnot, video response, I'd be happy to receive those. I want to see some different opinions. If anybody's read this book, you can message me on here, tell me what you thought, whatever. Alright, thank you guys for watching this video review of Sinner's Creed, a memoir by Scott Stapp. I would definitely check this out. Again, I gave it a 9 out of 10. So, thank you guys for watching this book review. I will have some more album reviews coming up. I have Foxygen coming up next. I've got some Lee Bryce next week. I've just got a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe some Nigel Dupree in the future. I've got some, just a whole bunch of stuff. The new band by Danny Harrison as well. The name escapes me right now, but I will definitely be doing his 2009 album, The Fear of Missing Out. So I would definitely check that out. Do it with my friend Archam's HP, Bobby Myers. So check that out. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Subscribe to Bobby's channel, Archam's HP, Lance Moss TV, and Jordan Culp also has a channel. You can look him up on YouTube. Alright, thank you guys for watching this episode. Have a nice day.